Oh, look at this. All right, there's an image that I approve of right there. That right there is a super fan, because that takes time. You not only love your team, you love your appearance, and we love your appearance as well. Where is that gentleman sitting?
About half hour later than normal, but Tuesday nights mean a new episode of Goal Horns and Fight Songs for the most part, and it was pretty fun week from what I watched, except for myself and my Bulldogs and how everything went. But other than that, got to actually watch some live hockey.
Go Horns and Fight Songs, the only NCHC podcast with a 5-time NCHC fan of the week, that being this guy right here.
Got some airtime, got a lot of things going on for you.
My face was on the internets and or TV way too much this weekend. Let's be real.
Yeah, that's more West than most people need. It was way more. I mean, this is kind of more than I need, honestly, and I'm more than you need. But yeah, you were all over the place.
I was on live TV. I was on local TV. I'm on the internets.
You were on the Jumbotron.
I was on the Jumbotron, which, really, I guess we'll jump into this first. So my first impressions of the Herb Brooks National Ice Center, my first time being there. Overall, I very much enjoyed my time there. I thought it was fantastic. I think there's some stuff that could be different. Not a lot of in between play stuff. I don't know if that was just the way that these two games shook out. There was not a whole lot done with the Jumbotron, the big board, whatever you want to call it. Like I said, I ended up there once on Friday. I don't think really the only thing I remember being on there Saturday was the game, and then the drum cam for the fan cam thing. I don't remember there being too much with it outside of that. Saturday they showed one student in the student section, but again, not too many people that I might not have been paying enough attention to it. But their student, I don't know if they were on break or what was going on, but their student section lacked in numbers even for the designated space it looked like they had. Because it was one small section in the lower bowl, or like a section and a half in the lower bowl, up against the wall opposite the benches. And then there was another small section labeled as the student section in the upper bowl, again against the wall, as it only has real seating on two sides of the arena there. And they chose to put their broadcast bench at the bottom of the lower bowl student section. And look, I get that not every student section is going to be what Western does or even what Omaha does or North Dakota, but to me, when you're laying out your arena, I think the last thing you want to do is take seats away from potentially the most important fans in the building. Like, if it's college sports, the student section should be the focal point of who you're trying to bring into the game. Like, they should be the ones that, make the most noise or are the rowdiest or the most involved in the game. So to lose upwards of 4 or 5 rows of seats, even though, again, it wasn't that many, there wasn't that many to begin with, and so they were still taking away from that. And to me, that's a missed opportunity there.
I do know it. I think you're talking more of, and I wasn't paying attention. So actually, Wes and I were both at the Saturday game because he mentioned it. So I drove up to St. Cloud, but I don't know if it's the Friday game where they were broadcasting from, but I know the local TV, their up at the very top.
Everybody's up at the very top as far as the actual like in-game broadcasting, but like their studio
Yep, their
desk
studio. I did notice that
is right there at the bottom of the student section. Like they're
Mhm.
like when they're in between periods or whatever, and they show like that newsroom looking view or like that.
Yeah, it's like right in the corner ish.
Unlike all the Fox Sport, what used to be Fox Sports, the Bally Sports, when it's like the former players of the team in between periods, like that stuff. I think they do some of it from that desk that was literally like ice side, ringside.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, put it
They
in a
do.
back room. Like throw that thing somewhere else. Like set it up
Or put it back up top.
Yeah, put it back
where
up top.
everyone else
Put it
is.
in a stairwell that no one's gonna really be using in the intermission. Like, don't take away from the student experience and being a student. Like, because it would block. I guarantee you, if someone was sitting there, they're gonna block a view of the goal line at some point. That was kind of the one thing that bugged me. I think the community did a great job of carrying the atmosphere. Like I said, there was not a lot of students there. And I don't know if they were on some kind of holiday break or they just didn't want to be there for whatever reason.
I think I've been to St. Cloud enough times now. Typically I've hit them on a break, but even watching on TV, they don't get that many students there. But the community, like you were saying, they carry a lot of everything. And I made the comment to you on Saturday. I go, do you know if the students are on break? Because where they typically sit, it was just
I want to say like high estimate, if I'm being generous and I'm guessing high, there might have been 100 students. And that's legitimately me being very generous and guessing high. In the allocated student section. They could have been smattered throughout, but the actual allocated student section, there may on the high end have been 100 people.
And I think that's just kind of, unless they had a very early spring break. Oh boy, I've seen it a little bit lower, but I haven't seen it much lower than that.
So, but overall, I think the atmosphere was good. I don't buy things at games very often, so I did not partake in the concessions. But from walking around and seeing kind of their offerings, they do offer a wide variety of stadium type food. Look to be of solid quality.
It's all right.
The two places we did stop for food in St. Cloud were we hit up Val's Rapid Service Burger Joint, which was a phenomenal experience, very good. And then Saturday we went to the Blue Line Bar, I believe it's called. Before Saturday's game, and that was a pretty cool little spot. Didn't do a whole lot in St. Cloud because we ended up staying closer to Minneapolis and St. Paul just because we knew we were gonna try and hit up some things down there more so than the St. Cloud area. If I go back, I will stay closer to St. Cloud or in the city proper there next time. But I mean, I think I mentioned this to somebody from St. Cloud I was chatting with on Twitter. Of the three places I've been to, and really I kind of have to throw Colorado College out now because they have their new arena. I went to their old one. And Miami was a playoff game. But I would say that even this regular season game, this was the best experience atmosphere-wise, game-wise, fan interaction-wise. And again, like I didn't interact with a whole bunch of people, but there was no negative feelings towards them, and I don't believe they had any negative feelings towards me. I definitely didn't do anything to incite negative feelings that I can think of. So I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. the student section was kind of the one downside. Again, like, I hold student sections in high regard, just one being a Western Michigan fan, having gone to the university, having been a part of the student section for a number of years, still on good terms with the student section here, which is a registered student organization. So a little bit more than just a random smattering of students. There's some actual organization to it. But so that was really the one downside, but everything else was pretty solid. I guess to the games, Friday Western came out and controlled a lot of the play. They had a turnover at the blue line of their offensive zone that St. Cloud capitalized and took a 1-0 lead. I think they ended up getting up 2-0 at one point. I think 3-0 might have been. I think it was 2-0, 2-1, 3-1. Going into the third period, I think it was 3-1, and Western kind of came back. There's the controversial goal, which everyone has talked about this weekend. I don't know that it's really worth rehashing other than to give our opinions, because I didn't post anywhere what I thought about it or anything like that. I'm under
And I know you told me to watch it, but I just didn't have time to watch it back.
I'm under the impression that I don't know where the puck went. Like, you can slow down whatever you want to. You can pull up the highlight reel that NCHC posted. You can slow it down to quarter speed and watch the play and watch the streak and see where it goes. Here's what I know. The ref was behind the play, didn't have a clear view of the puck going in the net or going into Cam's glove, whatever it may be. The video does not show clearly what happened. It's called a no goal instantly by the referee. He does not make any mention of it being a goal. They're not trying to overturn it from a goal to a no goal. It's a no goal going into the review. They don't see anything to really convince them otherwise, and they stick with their call. And to me, that seems to be the right call, whether you want to play logical games and say the only logical place is for the puck to be in Cam's glove. I don't know that that's true. I don't know what other views they had. And that's the second situation that I've been at a game of where the call on the ice has stood, barring some other result. And go back to Western versus Omaha. There's a goal scored by Omaha that's ruled a goal on the ice. The referees go into the booth and review it. The ref skates out, and his exact verbiage is, "There's no evidence to show that the puck did not cross the line. Therefore, the call on the ice stands. It's a goal." They never actually see the puck go into the net. They never see the puck in the net. However, the call on the ice originally was a goal, so they stay with their call. It then goes to a coach's challenge for goaltender interference, and it's overturned based on goaltender interference. There was never going to be a goaltender interference situation with the St. Cloud no goal. It was the ref's discretion, and what he saw in the video evidence was not enough for him to overturn the call, so they stayed with the call on the ice. And I think that's what you want. I think there's some consistency to that. Where, everyone wants to say, like, yeah, but you can use logic and deduction, and at that point, we're just closing our eyes and guessing, or picking what we want to believe.
Well, and I think one of the problems is what you see or what you've seen on the internet is the picture of Cam's glove in the net. But the problem is you don't see the puck.
Well, you're supposed to operate on the assumption that the puck is in his glove without seeing the puck.
And that's, there lies the problem. It's like people just jump to it, and it's like,
and there's two views.
Okay,
there's the overhead view, and then there's the one outside facing the net that allegedly shows the same thing. And maybe I have shit depth perception, but I can't tell you that his glove is actually in the net in the picture from the front angle. Nor do I know where the puck is.
No, that front angle, can't see the puck in. It's not you. I don't know. if where his glove is, all I see across the net, the overhead angle, yeah, his glove is in the net, but again,
And if the ref had been in the right
where's the puck?
yeah, and if the ref had been in the right spot and had ruled it a goal and they had reviewed it and it had stayed a goal because there wasn't enough evidence to overturn it, perfectly fine. I have no problem with it. That play have gone either way.
Mhm.
And I got a chance to talk to Cam after Saturday's game about it, and his response was, the refs made the call they felt was right. We looked at it. It's hard to tell. We feel like them sticking with their call was the right move, and for those who have a problem with it, they had just as much of an opportunity to win the game in overtime as we did, and it was a incredible goal by Alex Bump to toe drag around a sliding defender and put it past a rookie goaltender who played phenomenally both games.
Yeah, and we were talking about this on Saturday. A little bit of a ballsy move by Coach Larson, because I was curious if Bassey was hurt or anything that, maybe you had heard something or whatever, but yeah, he looked good in practice and they were playing a nice young goaltender to maybe spell Bassey for a little bit and give him some rest, but then if they need him, they can put him in.
Yeah, and it was definitely. I was not expecting to see Posh both nights. He played outstanding both nights. Saturday was a completely different game. It was much more. Um, not as clean of a game. The entries weren't as great. The neutral zone was plugged up a little bit more. Both teams were kind of sluggish to a degree. It just was not as clean of a game, and it was really a game that felt like whoever could make the least amount of mistakes and capitalize first was going to win the game. I mean, it was 0-0 going into the third period, and really, it's a
Mhm.
1-goal game. Like
Yeah,
there's two
I
empty
I
net
was just going to say
goals
that.
that seal the game for St. Cloud State, but really, it was a 1-goal game the entire game, and there's
It was sloppy hockey.
yeah, it was not great. But both goaltenders, both Bassey and Posh, have now picked up. I believe Bassey was the goaltender both nights here in Kalamazoo. Yep, both pick up a shutout of Western Michigan, so we have some trouble with the old St. Cloud goaltenders apparently. But
Um,
again, I mean, very like competitive games to say the least. Like these were two evenly matched teams. But
yeah, and we knew that going in.
yeah, I think it was really everything you wanted from the weekend. If you're a Western fan, you want that win. Saturday, you don't get it, but it is what it is. You bounce back. We've got North Dakota this week and shake it off and go after the next one. But a fun weekend, really. Some really good hockey, at least as far as Western and St. Cloud went. There was some other lopsided games. Denver scored
Yeah.
nine goals in one of their games. Unfortunately, one of them counted for Miami, so it was an 8-1 victory Saturday night. And them scoring on
Well,
themselves cost Davis his shutout, which, whether or not you want to say it's right or not, I don't know. It's kind of stupid that an empty net goal count blows your shutout when you stopped everything you were supposed to, and on a delayed penalty call, your forwards clear it off the boards and into their own net.
and I wanted to go back really quickly just to the Western St. Cloud and your assessment of the St. Cloud Arena. Because I didn't have a chance because I got distracted by our
Also,
other topics.
those chairs suck. Those lower bowl
It's
chairs, the back of that chair is 90 degrees to the ground. The bottom of the chair is at the most ridiculous angle. My legs fell asleep Friday night from about the middle of the second period until the third, like 5 minutes left in the third period. And I had to beat the crap out of my legs to get the blood flowing.
The arena itself needs a major update.
And I think
And
there
I
might
thought
be one
this-
coming.
I thought this back in 2015.
Well, I
So
think, don't quote me on this because I'm not even 90% sure on this. I believe at some point they too will be moving away from the Olympic sized ice. And
I believe
there may be additional renovations at that time, because I believe they petitioned or put what's the right word? Kind of a petition, but they propose a proposal in with, I believe, some sort of the Minnesota legislature or something, to receive funds to redo or to revamp in some regard Herb Brooks National Ice Arena. Or ice
what they
Center.
need to do is tear down the whole place and just build a new arena. That's what they need to do, in
Yeah.
my honest opinion.
But I believe that's in the works, so there may be some additional renovating going on with moving from the Olympic sized ice to the NHL sized ice, and maybe redoing some of the seating at the same time.
The thing is, the arena's been around, I believe, since the 70s. The only thing they've really done is updated the scoreboards. It makes me, when I'm there, it makes me feel like I've time traveled back in time as far as the actual arena itself.
It is 34 years old. It opened in December of 1989.
Yeah, so like us, it's old. But it has a feel of it being like from the 70s. That's just the way that I think of it. But other than the student section, I haven't had a bad experience there as a visiting fan either. And I think that's what makes it great. Like, you're not, unless you're trying to incite some sort of reaction out of the opposing fans to your team. Everyone's like, hey, we're here to watch a hockey game. There's some friendly jabbing back and forth. And you're not North Dakota. So we're okay with you. And that's been my experience there. So other than the arena needs to be updated and the student section needs to show up a little bit more, which same for UMD. The overall experience is great, and I just wanted to second your thing about the St. Cloud fans and just how good of hockey fans they are, especially to opposing fans.
Yeah. And I mean, I probably should. Gino did give me a rather nice shout out on the Saturday game, which played at the beginning of this podcast tonight. I may or may not have said some things about his play calling or broadcasting abilities.
I have.
And I probably will in the future too, but he seems like a genuinely nice fellow, and he said some very nice words about me, but I think that he needs to look at the arena and somehow the net did not come off of the moorings.
No, it did not.
Very much this weekend, if at all.
I think once on Saturday.
Yeah. So, maybe not every away goaltender is constantly trying to shove that thing off the moorings.
Just the UMD goaltenders or the Western goaltenders.
But I do appreciate, the kind words that he said, both on Twitter and during the game. It was very nice of him. Especially, I got way too much, like I said, I got way too much airtime, especially as an away fan there. So, but enough about me. There's been too much about me lately. Let's dive into these other games. Maybe the most
Do that again.
surprising result of the weekend was Friday night. Miami and Denver go 3-3 to the shootout.
Yeah. That one. It was Miami doing their stupid thing that they do where they have no business being with the team and then they either beat them or they almost beat them and make them pucker a lot more than they should.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely they're not rolling over and giving up. They're playing their games. They're just not a very good team. And if you sleep on it, they can get you. Denver learned that and woke up and again scored 9 goals on Saturday. One of them just happened to be in their own net. Otherwise, they blanked Miami Saturday, which may or may not have been a result that we were more along the lines of expecting.
And I think the thing with Miami is, especially between the two of us, and then also Brent when we've had him on, you don't sleep on them, and it's not a knock against the kids and their compete level and their work ethic. It's just a matter of you guys just aren't quite at the level of a Denver or a St. Cloud or a Western. But if you anything can happen on any given night. It's a cliche in sports, but it really is true. You can play a team 100 times, you'll beat them 99, but there's just that one time that it works for them. So they're definitely Miami's definitely a trap game at least one of the nights for the majority, well, basically the whole conference.
Other scores that may not have been too shocking. North Dakota absolutely jumped on Minnesota Duluth.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to say this is a full response weekend for North Dakota just because of the way the Duluth year has been going. Minnesota Duluth is so beat up. Their depth has absolutely been ravaged by injury, by academic ineligibility, by poor decision making on the players. Like there's not a whole lot going right, if anything, in Duluth right now. And we knew that North Dakota was going to be the better team. I don't know that we were expecting 6-0, but we knew that they were going to try and come back and make a statement after failing to capture a point in Colorado Springs.
I don't think I would have expected 6-0, but probably 4 rip would have been more my thought. And you and I both predicted a sweep for North Dakota. It's just it's one of those years for UMD, and in college hockey you almost kind of expect it to happen. You're just not going to be it's not like college football or college basketball, and even in those you have down years for some of the quote unquote blue blood teams, but only bright spot has been Ben Steves, and even last weekend he got a misconduct penalty because he's frustrated. There's really no positive note for the Bulldogs, and it honestly makes it tough for me to watch them in general. I think I texted you on Friday. I was like, I shut the game off after it was 4-0 because it was like boom, boom, boom. Within 5 minutes, we were down 3-0.
Yeah.
I was like, forget it. We're not coming back from this. I know this team. We're not coming back from it. And I feel bad saying that for the kids because they're not giving up, but I just know that there's not a lot there.
No, it certainly doesn't feel like it. I mean, I think they still have an outside chance at moving up in the rankings, but they are about it. I think if they lose, I want to say they lose a game, that they're stuck in the 7th spot. I know there's still quite a bit of flexibility 2 through 5, potentially 2 through 6. But no, we're getting to the bottom. Things are starting to settle out. Miami has a death lock on that 8th spot. There's a few teams that still have an opportunity to fight for the Penrose Cup going into the last weekend. This weekend is just as important as next weekend because really this sets up who can get where in that final weekend. I think the other series that we didn't touch on was
Yeah.
Omaha and Colorado College. The Tigers come into
And
town. They get shut out by Simon Lacosi on the first night. I think we knew the offensive output that Colorado has shown at times hasn't been sustainable for them, and it wasn't again this weekend. It was really more a battle of defenses, and Omaha was able to find some gaps and strike on Friday night and pick up a big win for them. Slow down the onslaught that Colorado College has been on of late. Saturday, a little bit different of a game, kind of maybe more what we thought we were going to see between these two teams, a 1-1 overtime game, the two most prolific teams in overtime in the NCHC this year. Omaha, I believe, stays perfect in the extra period.
I believe they went to a shootout in that one as well.
Did they? Let me see. Yeah, they're still 5-0 in overtime. So yep. Yeah, shootout win for Omaha.
Yep.
Two teams that have played the most extra hockey this year. Colorado College is 5-2 in overtime with no overtime wins. Omaha 5-0 in overtime with 3 shootout wins. If Omaha could win some games in regulation, they would have been scary. They would have been fighting for like one of the top spots in the conference. And they're still fighting for home ice, but
yeah, I mean they can still get it. They're 12 points out of second right now.
Yeah, they have to win out. They have to win out and hope St. Cloud State loses some games here and there. Denver loses some games.
Well, St. Cloud State isn't going to lose the last series of the year because they play UMD. So
maybe UMD just treats that as their playoffs, and has a little something. Just trying to ruin St. Cloud's day maybe is enough to get them going. But they're looking the way it's set up now. They're potentially going to run 4 straight games for the 3rd straight year at the end of the year.
I know.
With an opportunity to go 5 straight.
Just stupid.
But
just stupid. But hey, give me another reason to go back up to St. Cloud. Well, I mean, I do have one reason already, but just another reason to go back up to St. Cloud and go get that burger at that bar, grab a shuttle to the game, and stay out till 2 a.m.
Some other stuff going on. I guess we can do players of the week and month because February is now over.
Mm-hmm.
Players of the week.
Well, yeah.
Forward Jackson Blake, defenseman Jake Livanovich. Yeah, I think that's right. Rookie Isaac Posh, goaltender of the week, Simon Lacozy, well deserved for Simon. He had a sweep. He had a shutout. Well, I guess not really a sweep because they went to the shootout, but I think the only clean. Nope, there's not a clean. No, North Dakota was the only clean sweep, and
Yeah.
really, I would say that the effort that Cozy put in was slightly more impressive than what Person did. Considering Cozy only gave up 1 goal on the weekend, so
And I think Posh is good for rookie of the week because he did play very well.
Yeah, I
Against your
mean, the only one that I think I could argue or at least put in the conversation would have been Alex Bump, 2 goals and an assist on the maybe not on the weekend, but at least on Friday's game. But he did get the Rookie of the Month award, so all's good there.
Mm-hmm.
He recorded 5 goals, 4 assists for a 9-point month and was +4 in the plus minus in the month of February, picking up the Rookie of the Month award. Goaltender of the month for, I believe, the 3rd straight month was Caden Emberko, and Player of the Month, Jackson Blake from North Dakota. So, all well deserved. I think all those players stood out to in what they were doing this month. The sophomore year that Emberko has had has been nuts.
There is no sophomore slump for him.
No. We'll see if he can continue that again into the playoffs this year like he did last year. But he is a very strong goaltender, and Colorado College is very lucky to have him. So kudos to them. Let's see. What else do we want to discuss? Probably just next week's games, yeah?
Yep, that's what I was thinking.
All right.
I should probably write these down because
I would say this is a very important weekend for Omaha and Western Michigan and Colorado College. And we'll start in Miami as they have the earliest start time of 7:05. Omaha traveling to Miami. They're winnable games for Omaha. It gives, they're facing the team who only has 1 regulation win in the conference in Miami. They're in desperate need of some points. They need to be essentially playing like it's the playoffs now. That Cozy has been playing extremely well. Their offense has been clicking a little bit here. I do have an Omaha sweep. Probably one of these games is going to go to overtime because that's how Omaha likes to do things. But I do believe the Mavs get the 6 points and really make it interesting going into the last week to see where the playoff seeding is going to sit.
no, wrong one. Wrong letter. I think it's a sweep as well for Omaha. It's again though, like I've said, you don't know what you're gonna get, and I think they could actually drop one of these games to Miami. I mean, you look at what Miami just did last week against Denver. And yeah, it's not the Denver team of the past couple of years, but it's still a much better Denver team. I do think Miami could surprise Omaha one of the nights, but
I think the surprise is them taking Omaha to another overtime game. I don't see it. I don't see a lot out of Miami. To be fair, Denver is a injury-ridden team as well. They were without Rizzo. He's considered week to week. He did not play the weekend. Uh, King is out for the next 2 to 4 weeks. I believe missing Saturday's game. So they're without their top two, I believe, centers. And again, really, Miami did not do much. I think it was more Denver overlooked them than it was Miami played an incredible game. But seeing
I
that
mean,
result, I think the coach there was a Gab Burnett. Is the Omaha coach, I believe is how you pronounce his name. He's gonna know that like Denver slept on this. That's your example. Don't pull a Denver and fall asleep on the ice. Like we're getting ready to playoff time. We can't have it. We've got to be playing smart, consistent hockey. If they want a shot at the national tournament, they've got to put together wins here, and they've got to beat teams that they're supposed to beat. They've got to continue to benefit themselves and take advantage of situations that present themselves, and this is one of those.
I will say this though, it's one thing for a coach to say it. It's another thing for the players to do it.
Oh yeah,
because
100%.
I've done the same thing, and I'm like I said, I'm with you where I think Omaha is going to sweep, but I just think that again, there's that chance for Miami to come in and steal a game or at least go to overtime with them.
Yeah.
I
I will say I do
it'll be
think
more interesting series than it should be, I think.
Simon Lacoste is also a better goaltender than Matt Davis is. I will throw that out there.
Oh, well, yeah.
I mean, Denver's offense is maybe better than Omaha's. Their defense is not. I think Omaha's defense is better. Their goaltending is better. They just have to play consistent hockey and score goals that they may not have been scoring otherwise. But this is a team that could help potentially get your offense right because there's not a lot that Miami does right now.
Or for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Plus.
Once again, for back-to-back weeks, the Western Michigan game will be on CBS Sports Network, this time at North Dakota. There's some interesting numbers here to play with for those who care about numbers. At home, North Dakota is 15-4-1. They have only two regulation conference losses. None of them coming at home. Both of those coming in Colorado Springs. Of their overall 6 conference losses, 4 of them have come in overtime. Western's 9-4-1 on the road, though. So this is two teams that are playing well in their respective positionings here. Western needs points. Western has a tendency of playing up to the ranking of their opponent. North Dakota sits currently at number 3. Western is, I believe, at 11 in one of the rankings. I know they're 11. I think they're 11 in the pairwise, too. Western knows the goaltender that is mining the crease for North Dakota very well. At least the seniors do.
Mm-hmm.
This one feels close, but I'm giving Western a sweep here. They have done it before. They've come in as an underdog into Ralph Engelstad Arena, and they have stolen 6 points. Cam Rowe has played solid. They were getting slightly better defensive awareness in their own zone. The offense has got to be the scoring offense that we saw against Denver and a couple other teams at times. If they fall behind, they have to keep it close. They have to be able to respond. They can't get out of the game, which is the personality of this Western team, to not get rattled when things get difficult. But they have to absolutely play their A game this weekend. If they do, and they play smart and they stay out of the box or at least limit opportunities, they'll be in a good spot. And their power play, I am not a fan of whatever their power play is doing. And this was a power play that was in the tops of the country on power play at certain times this year, and I do not like the fact that there is very little creativity between the two power play lines. They run the exact same way, and teams have keyed in on it, and all they do is they stack the box to the shooter at the dot. They put an extra body up there, and they almost just leave basically a free kick wall in front of either Galambos or Colangelo to shoot the puck directly into and just eat blocks on that side. There's very, and it's both power play 1 and 2. They both do the same thing. It's just different guys doing it. There needs to be some sort of creativity with those power play units to get back to being effective on it, to make teams break down defensively. Because right now they sit in their spots and then they start pressuring our players. So all our players do is circle the puck or cycle the puck and end up missing on a pass and it goes out of the zone, or they put it in an area where the defense can get to it and clear it. There's not a lot going on the power play.
What was the Herb Brooks comment? Your power play looks like a bunch of monkeys trying to hump a football. That's kind of what I noticed on Saturday. It looks so discombobulated. For me, I have it as a split. I have, man, I'm dyslexic today. I have Western winning on Friday and North Dakota winning on Saturday. Like you said, it's going to be a close series. I do think that the UMD series that North Dakota just had last weekend, was it necessarily a get right series? No, but it was a series that they needed, with just having a team that you can kind of reset with. It's not necessarily get right, but it's a reset. So I think North Dakota's gonna come out a little sluggish on Friday, and Western is going to be a little upset with how the way the weekend ended. And then Saturday, North Dakota's gonna be like, oh yeah, we're actually playing a good team now again, and they're gonna come back out and they're gonna win Saturday. So I have it as a split.
Got some thunder and lightning going on out here.
Yeah, we'll get that Sunday.
Denver,
Sunday?
St. Cloud State. This one feels like it could be a very similar series to what we just saw between Western and St. Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
We know that Denver has a very prolific offense. We've seen it. They've scored in bunches and score quickly. Their power play, if it gets running, scores rather quickly. I believe St. Cloud will have a big advantage on the dot. Whether or not they're missing both Rizzo and King is yet to be seen for the Denver side. But if they are, that just increases that advantage, or yeah, it just increases that advantage that St. Cloud will have on the dots, face-off wise. Goaltender, I feel like they're still playing this game with the goaltenders. Bassie has the experience. Posh is on a little bit of a roll. He's played the last 3 games. We're in very important game time. I don't know which way the coaches are going to go. I would lean towards maybe the experience here with a heavy hitting Denver offense, but then again, I wasn't expecting Posh to come in and blank Western, which at least in game 2. I think if he does that game 1, it's a little more understandable because the team hasn't seen him yet. But St. Cloud played with a little more vigor after the way they lost game 1. So
Sorry, I'm a little distracted. Marco Rossi looks like he hurt his knee.
but I have this one as a split: Denver Friday, St. Cloud State Saturday.
And I have it as the exact opposite of you. I do think either way, St. Cloud has a little bit of advantage in goaltending, um, and they still do have experience. Denver can put up the points, but as you said a few times, they're down a couple guys. I think it's a split. St. Cloud Friday, Denver Saturday, and go from there, I guess. And then the last series, for me, it's easier than even the Miami series. I think Colorado College sweeps my Bulldogs because we suck.
I have similar feelings. And by similar, I mean the exact same ones. Colorado College looks like they're going to best their program high finish in the NCHC. There's still a potential for them to get a little bit higher, especially if things shake out kind of the way we have them, and they win. I think they're sitting in 3rd right now, so some room for them to improve and chase down the teams in front of them. I like what Colorado College is doing. Like I said, their offense needs to be a little more consistent. They need to get maybe some extra play there, but they play the right way defensively and with their goaltender that they don't have to score a lot of points. They keep games close. They score here and there. They steal games. That's what they do. That seems to be their mentality, their personality. Maybe we'll see as the years go on here, but they'll pick up some more offensive talent and become potentially a juggernaut in the NCHC, as I believe they once were in the WCHA. But
yes, they were.
But it's something we haven't seen from a Colorado team. They're in a position that they're potentially hosting not only their first playoff series at the new arena, but hosting their first playoff series since the NCHC inception.
Yeah, currently they're 2 points behind Denver, so they're in 4th. But they're, and this is just kind of my more narrow Minnesota hockey mind, the way that they're playing is like when the Wild were first in the league and the Jacques Lemaire coach teams, where it's you're gonna win games 1-0, 2-1, 3-2. Like if you score 3 goals, that's a point night for everybody. And that's kind of how Colorado College is playing. But that's all they need to do. It's not watching it, it's not necessarily that they feel they have to do it because they know they don't have the talent. It's more of we know we're so good defensively and we have this goaltender that we just can do this, and we have that offensive strike ability, but we can just hang back and we trust our defense so much versus, like, if that makes any sense at all. Because your face is like, what is he talking about?
No, I'm listening. I'm just checking other stuff out. But no, I mean that makes sense. Yeah, they're very net. They've built their team from the net out, and it's paid dividends, and it's made them extremely competitive. I mean, 2 years ago we were talking about how they went into North Dakota and made those one goal games in the playoffs. The next year they take out the number 1 and the number 2, the number 2 and the number 1 team in succession to earn a chance at the Frozen Face-Off Championship last year and fell short to St. Cloud State. They've taken the right steps and they've made progress and they've done it the right way. They're a well-coached team. They're playing good hockey. They steal games that maybe they're not supposed to win, but they have the talent to do it.
And I think that's I think it was a couple years, I think it was 2 years ago. I was driving up north and I was listening to the UMD pregame. They were playing Colorado College, their coach's first year, and he said, "We're here to build this. This is how we're building this team. This is my plan. This is what we're doing," because Bruce had interviewed him. And everything that he said is coming true. Maybe it might have even been last year, because they had Berko, and they were talking about him and how he's basically been the underdog on every team that he was on, and he earned his starting spot. But you can see everything in that plan moving forward, and it's a good thing when all teams are competitive. Oh, since we've been through all of those games, there is one other thing that we should maybe mention for a future NCHC opponent.
Oh, you mean the
247 penalty minutes.
yeah, that's a mess, dude. There's I don't even I didn't watch any of it. I've only seen the stuff that's popped up. Apparently what I've pieced together is the two players who met at center ice, the one from Alaska and the one from Arizona, left their respective penalty boxes, which they were already serving penalties in, before their penalties had expired, to throw down at center ice, and were then ejected, given 2 or 3, I think it was 2 game disqualifications, which automatically gave them a suspension for a third game. The Arizona player has been suspended indefinitely. It was his, I think, 5th year, so he's done. Or no. It was the Alaska player's 5th year. He was suspended for the remainder of the season due to extra or supplemental discipline, either from his team or from the CCHA, for whatever reason, handled his suspension. The Arizona
Aren't
State,
they independent?
yeah, well, both teams are, but the supplemental discipline came from the CCHA for the Alaska player and the Big Ten for the Arizona State player. But the Arizona State, the university themselves, suspended their player indefinitely, like immediately after the game. So he's done for the season. He does still have eligibility remaining. So who knows what's going to happen with that situation, whether Arizona State's going to try and bring him back next year, he's going to enter the transfer portal, or he's going to sign a pro deal. It juiced up certain people about wanting fighting in college hockey. It turned others who are afraid of, or not afraid of, but aren't a fan of fighting in any hockey away even more. I'm in the middle. Like, I don't mind a scrap when a scrap is called for. I think what they did crossed some boundaries, and both players were given discipline that matched it, crossing just the boundaries of it being a scrap because a player got hit that you didn't like, or a goalie got run. It happened in the natural course of the game. Like, that was not the situation here. These two players were jaw jacking back and forth in the penalty box for an extended period of time. like I said, their whatever penalties they were already serving hadn't expired yet, and they chose to leave the penalty box early to do this. Like, it's just it's a collection of poor choices that they have to suffer the consequences for. And some people are choosing to praise them just because they threw hands, and others are like, well, you're a dipshit and you deserve everything that's coming to you.
I'm with you on that too, where if there was a reason for it, like a legitimate reason, your teammate got railroaded from behind, yeah, you absolutely go after that guy, whoever did it. But you come out of the penalty box, the NHL got rid of the staged fighting.
Yeah.
Like, there is a reason they get rid of this. And a lot of the fights in the NHL, I don't even agree with, because I'm like, okay, that was a big hit. But why do you guys think this is a good idea to do? And you can't control what the kids think or what they do. Like, you can only do so much as a coach. But if anything, I think it hurt both their brands. Like, if they had pro teams looking at them,
Mm,
I,
I
oh,
don't.
this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna leave the penalty box early. Like, you don't have that discipline.
We
I
think that because that's kind of the logical thing that should occur, but we've seen with other issues that may or may not be considered worse than this, off ice issues that we're like, oh, this dude's career is ruined, and yet they signed pro deals that then teams had to go, well, shit, we should have
yeah,
actually signed you, because what you did, while it had nothing to do with hockey, the fan base now views you as a terrible human being that they don't want to have represent them as a team member. But we're kind of
Arizona,
uh, Boston. We're kind of in a pickle here.
LA.
Um, so what do we do? Like, we're just going to
That
terminate the contract and deal with any legal repercussions that come our way. So we tend, as people not in the business, to believe that the morality and the righteousness exist, but yet we're constantly proven wrong and shown that if you afford to be who you can be, or be who you can afford to be, and if you're a good enough player on the ice in certain situations, you can get away with a lot more than the average player both on and off the ice.
and I will say to that, it may hurt their brand it I think it hurts their brand, but at the same time, compared to other things that we've seen, like you were just saying, what this is not even close to what the other people have done. So, and people are probably going to forget about this in a week. I mean,
And
I probably will.
maybe worst case scenario here
They
is if
drop a couple rounds or something
you
if
either
they're
drop
not
a couple
drafted.
rounds, or if you were slated as an ECHL guy, you either have to start in the SPHL, or you just go straight to Europe and you play in Europe either for your whole career or for a few years and then somehow manage to make it back to the US.
Yeah, that's probably the thing. I think it costs them a few dollars in their pocket,
Yeah.
but
Or maybe if you're an AHL guy, you start in the E.
yeah,
I think that might be some of where we're at. It's not going to cost them their careers. It might cost them their college careers, but like I said, one player was already uh, eligibility out, and this was his last year anyway, and they weren't making the tournament, so this was really his last hurrah to do something, and he did.
and I think that's more what I meant about it hurting their brand. It's more the pocketbook than the anything, because other than people like us who actually follow college hockey and pay attention to this, I mean, I don't even know their names.
Yeah,
I
I don't
can
know.
look it up, but I mean, how many people are going to care a year from now? We're, we're going to forgot this even happened and be like, oh,
Well,
hey, yeah, you remember that?
It'll live on in highlight reels. It'll live on in the matchups between Alaska and Arizona State. I think it would have the thing that like is thank God Arizona State was already accepted to the NCHC, I guess. Like that could have hurt them a little bit trying to sign with a conference if they hadn't already here.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that hurts Alaska's chances a little bit of potentially finding a conference here in the next couple of years. I don't know. This stuff happens not so rarely that we never know about it, but it's not an every year occurrence. Well, last year it was Alaska, one of the Alaska teams, and Omaha. They had
Yeah.
big scraps after a couple games. I think Alaska had big scraps with a couple other teams last year. But I know like the big one was literally like after game one between one of the Alaskas in Omaha. I think it was
In the
Alaska
handshake
Fairbanks.
line.
Yeah. Western Michigan had a throwdown with MSU back in like 1997 that still brought up when these two teams play each other.
And I think one of the big things too is even just with the conference and Arizona State, if they were looking for a conference and Alaska looking for a conference now, you have to do the investigation. And even so, who started what? How did this go about? And we will never know because we are not the two players that were involved. We were not in any of the players involved in that game or the coaches. And unless you were actually there and heard everything that came out at the time, you're never going to know the full story. It's just the way that it is. So Fairbanks can say Arizona State started it. Arizona State can say Fairbanks started it. Well, guess what? We don't know because we weren't there.
We had one guy on the ice, but who was that one guy? It was Shorzy. Little Shorzy quote for those who got that. Yeah, I think that's about where I'm at with it. I think that's we covered the big things, the goal, no goal. I think it has been beaten to death here. We covered the fight, which has been covered to in social media to an extreme.
Yeah, last week's games got these upcoming games. I still have a 2-game lead over you.
Yeah, so come on. Whoever I picked to sweep, come on, Western. Need a sweep out of you guys because you did not pick a sweep. And then, come on,
We have
Denver and St. Cloud on the days I picked you to win the games.
Wait, why did I not? Yeah, you went opposite of me for St. Cloud. I don't know why I didn't type that in.
Yeah, I think that's gonna do it. There's some YouTubey stuff you can do. There's a like, a subscribe, a follow. No, there's not a follow. There's just a like and a subscribe.
That's Twitter.
There is a comment section if you choose to leave a comment after this live has ended, which it is doing here shortly. Our personal Twitter handles have been at the bottom of our pictures the entire time. The page has a Twitter handle. It is scrolling along the bottom of the screen as we currently speak because there are some letters missing, so make sure you pay attention to that. The only O is the O in goal. The rest of the O's are gone. There is a Gmail account, which is scrolling down around right now. That is all the words with all the letters squished together to make it one real long goal horns and fight songs at gmail.com. You can send us some interesting things. You can send us articles that you think we should read. You could send us questions that you think we should answer. You could send us insults that you think we deserve. Whatever. I don't care.
Yeah, might as well.
You can do none of those things if none of them sound appealing to you. If you've stuck around this long, thanks for watching. Good luck to all of the players. Hope everybody stays safe. All the injured players, hope you get back soon enough to finish out the year, because we love college hockey and we want every team to be as strong as it can be going into the playoffs here. And really, we want to see another national championship come to the NCHC. We've enjoyed what we've had so far. We want to keep it rolling and go into the next phase of NCHC hockey, both with Arizona State playing next year and the new playoff platform that's coming next year, and then the new playoffs that are coming in a couple more years. So lots of change ahead for the conference. Hopefully some things stay the same, like our dominance of college hockey. Till the next episode, that's going to do it. We are out of here. Goodbye.
Dogs. Oh, look at this. All right, there's an image that I approve.